Good morning, everyone. Christian Jude, StrengthAddicts.com. Today is Thursday, August 10th, and people want me to talk about France's Lionel Beyeke. Well, let's talk about him. But first, let me clue you into AndroHard, topical muscle enhancement gel available at musclegels.com. Also, check out AndroHard, which just dropped very recently. AndroHard, Andro Shred, match made in heaven. Lionel Beyeke, okay. Lionel is someone that historically I have been a huge supporter of, so much so that I have actually cast the blame on Dennis James, on lighting, on the price of rice in China, everything except for placing it on Lionel. Lionel has a complete physique, like William Bonac, for example, also. But, Bonac's a little short. Lionel's got everything. He's got the right height. He's got a complete physique. He knows how to pose. He knows how to work the stage. Let's stop right there just for 1 second, okay? There's a huge difference between knowing how to pose and working the stage. They're not the same thing. A lot of times people think they are, they're not. There are some just beautiful, aesthetic, almost throwback classic era. I don't even mean classic era pumping iron. I mean classic era Dave Draper, Sergio Oliva, Frank Zane as an amateur. I'm talking late 60s, early 70s, even more classic era than pumping iron, if that's like conceivable. That having been said, I have seen people that have that sort of Ed Corney type posing routine that cannot get the crowd to even sneeze. I mean, they're just like, the crowd's like, or, So there's a difference between having the posing abilities of a Ned Corney, of a Bob Paris, of a Lee Labrado, or even the more extravagant posing of a King Kamali or a Kai Green, but you also need to work the audience. And all the guys that I mentioned happen to be people that work the audience and know how to pose real well, okay? And so Lionel has all these abilities, okay? The problem with Lionel is that something happens those final 48 hours. Palumbo used to like to joke around that he'd go to Krispy Kreme. Other people say that, the guy's doing everything possible and he just spills over, or he does everything possible and maybe the cortisol levels go up or whatever. The reality of the matter is there was a show that he did in Brazil, an Arnold Classic that he did in Brazil, where I personally thought he could have won that show. And a lot of people thought he could have won that show. And that was probably the best Lionel that we've seen in a long-ass time. I saw him at the Arnold. Again, it's really, really frustrating with him because you don't know if he's going to come in dialed in. Now, I will say that I am not, and nor will I ever be, a fan of contest prep gurus that prep from afar. Okay, especially if we're talking about an IFBB pro of the caliber of France's Lionel Beyeke. When Dennis James was, and Lionel told me, calling him from other continents, that is not ever going to be as effective as being in the hotel room, a la, Hani Rambod, Chris Aceto, George Farah. That is nowhere near the same when you're on the phone with someone or you're doing a Skype session. It's just not the same. And I don't care how much you say technology is up to date and the 360 and HD and, 4K, whatever. It's not the same as being right there. And Lionel, I think, needs, and this may offend him, but hey, man, I'm not in the popularity game, and I say it like it is. Lionel, to be successful, needs a hand-holding coach. A coach that's going to monitor him, that's going to sleep in the same room as him, that's going to just make sure that his supplements are on point, timed on point, and that he has a visual of the guy on an hour-by-hour basis. If that happens, he could win a Sandow. There's no question about it.